On today's episode of the DeRaud-Messinger Show, we predict who will win the Longhorns quarterback battle. Longhorns fans, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It's greatly appreciated. So to begin, Dylan, we got Casey Thompson, we got Hudson Card, and they're going to be gearing up for a 2021 quarterback battle. Who's your winner?
Well, right now, after watching the Colorado game at the end of the season, I want to go with Casey Thompson. He showed, that ability to throw the ball deep and really create plays with his legs. He just obviously there was a sense of athleticism that he brings that I don't think Ehlinger necessarily had. But obviously Ehlinger is just a whole different athlete. It's hard to replace that type of guy. But when I look at Hudson Card, he's another. It's interesting because I didn't think it would be this close, but based off reports in camps, the coaching staff has been really impressed with Card, especially his accuracy. I know when we were watching him while he was at Lake Travis, you could feel it when he was in the game. The passes he was able to make, you're like, okay, he's going to be able to control this, possession, really take it down the field, especially against Westlake. He was
Westlake, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
it was putting on a clinic.
I'm trying to remember the exact scenario, but basically the Cavs, Lake Travis, needed a touchdown. He threw a dart to Kyle Eves in the end zone. You were near that ball, Dylan, and that was a big, obviously, win for Lake Travis over a rival. But, so are you leaning Casey there?
I'm going to go with Casey, but I think it's a scenario where I would not be surprised that after a few games they're going with Card. If Casey's not able to perform at a certain level, I don't think there's going to be that amount of leniency because I don't know if there's that big of a gap between these two guys, Devon. Who do you have pulling it out?
Yeah, I don't know so much about the gap. Obviously, we're not the coaches, so we don't really know anything. But as you said, reports seem to indicate that this is a pretty tight quarterback race. Let's point out the similarities to begin here. As you said, Casey Thompson's pretty athletic and, he's got the dual threat ability. Hudson Card at Lake Travis also showed that. I don't know how much of that he can bring to Texas and college football, but when Hudson Card checked into the games last year, he was using his legs. Now, I don't know how much of that is just because he's athletic or because, the coaching staff doesn't want to trust the third-string quarterback, a freshman, to throw the ball. But, whatever. I think they're both pretty even in that category. That's just my opinion. And then another similarity, they were both four-star quarterbacks coming out of high school. Now, you Longhorns fans probably know that Thompson is a OU legacy that chose to go to Texas. And then Hudson Card, as we said, Lake Travis, it doesn't really get much more awesome than that. He's also a four-star quarterback. Now, my pick here, Dylan, I know we waited a little while for this. I got Casey Thompson as well. I just think that he is the more experienced guy. Now, do they have, starting experience? No, but he is a junior entering his fourth season versus Card entering his second season as a redshirt freshman. I think Casey Thompson, as you said, put on a clinic against Colorado in the second half. It wasn't the first half. Ehlinger unfortunately got injured, but the silver lining, I guess, is we got to see Thompson ball out against Colorado because you guys like stats. 170 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and that was basically his season stats just in that Colorado game. He didn't get a lot of playing time. That's just kind of how the Longhorns were playing last year because, let's just say it. Herman wasn't leading us to many blowout victories. He didn't have the opportunity to get in. But I think, as you said, Card's a talented guy. I would not be surprised to see him coming in early. But, Dylan, what would it take if, let's say, Sarkisian picked Thompson heading into the season? What do you think it would take for Card to, take his job either willingly or some unfortunate thing happens here?
Well, obviously you can't rule out injury, and if Casey Thompson were to start and gets injured, that Card is going to be that guy that's coming in. I think.
Let's not start with injuries, but go ahead.
No, I'm just saying you brought it up here. I'm stating the obvious. If an injury happens, Card is obviously the one coming in. But the way I look at it, he's a solid backup in the sense he played at Lake Travis. He's been under the spotlight. You're basically playing college ball when you're playing in that Austin area. So he's always had eyes on him. He's always had some sort of pressure. and he's shown the ability to perform under those circumstances. But with Casey Thompson, obviously it would just be, interception problems, fumbles, just missing the throws.
Yeah. For this type of situation.
Yeah, I mean, with that Colorado game, though, when he was in the game, they just blew the hatches off the Colorado defense. Like, him and Bijan Robinson were just running all over him, and they were getting anything they want. Receivers were seemingly always open, and he was hitting them at every turn. So, Devon, this is a tough one, but I'm also, going to be leading with Casey Thompson as well.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't alluding to injuries, but that is the obvious. If you're a backup quarterback, you have to be ready. But the Texas schedule, you Longhorns fans know this. We start off the season against Louisiana Lafayette and Billy Napier's squad. Now, that is not a fun non-conference opponent, Dylan. Napier could have taken plenty of Power 5 jobs, yet I believe he's still staying with the Ragin' Cajuns to try to get an even better job outside. And then after that, you got Arkansas. Not a shabby team. They kind of got the bad end of things last year. I think they had a win that was taken away from them from refs, but that's another topic.
I think that perception of them, this isn't the same Arkansas team that's going 0-12. Agreed.
Exactly. Yeah, this isn't that team, and back to the Bielema days when it didn't work out. Oof. But let's give Arkansas some credit. They looked actually good last year, better than their record indicated. My point is, that's a tough 2-game schedule to start off the year. If Thompson isn't looking great, I wouldn't be surprised if Sarkisian put in Card. But yet again, iron sharpens iron. I want both quarterbacks to be healthy and playing at their best. But I think Thompson will start out the year. And another problem, Dylan, maybe not a problem per se, but an issue or a subject that we should talk about is that transfer portal is a thing. Thompson's been there longer. If he doesn't win the job, I would say he's probably more likely to leave, just the nature of it. Card, if he doesn't win the job, he probably, unless something unexpected happens, will be the starter for at least the next 2 years, barring, like I said, anything unexpected. So that's just something to watch out for. I bet Sarkisian has that in his mind. The Longhorns don't have a lot of quarterback depth right now. They got Charles Wright in the last recruiting class, but he's going to be a freshman. You don't want to really enter a season where he is the second-string quarterback. It's just something we got to point out. Yeah. But now, Dylan, on to a more fun topic. Keelan Robinson. What do you think about Texas adding him via the transfer portal that we're just talking about?
Well, anytime you get a guy of his talent level, just even if he's been underused, it's a big get. So I think any new talent that they can bring in is a huge. Yeah, I don't see the problem with it.
As you said, wasn't used too much. It's freshman year. Got to remember he was just a freshman. Rushed for 254 yards at Alabama. That was 2019. Last year he opted out because of COVID. He's a speed guy. You can't have enough running backs. They just got to go through them. Hopefully, like we said, injuries. Please, Bijan, bubble wrap him up. Keep him healthy. But otherwise, I can't complain about that transfer. And then more news in terms of transfers commitments. We got a commitment from Lance St. Louis, a 2022 5-star long snapper. Yes, people rate those. By Cole's Kicking and Punting, which is, the service that you want to listen to when it comes to all things special teams. What do you think about him?
Well, I mean, what I will say about a long snapper, obviously it's not glamorous, but if you don't have a good long snapper, that's messing up your entire special teams operation, and, then you're going, okay, we got a serious problem. This one's hard. This is a hard one to fix. So to get a guy like this that is going to be able to be consistent, at least that's what he's shown. I think that's huge.
Yeah, as you said, I can't really say too much about it. I'm not an expert in long snapping, unfortunately for you guys, but a 5-star via Coles I would trust. And also, he's from the state of Arizona. We have a couple players on Longhorns roster from Arizona. Bijan, there's a couple others, Jake Smith, and there's one other that I'm missing right now. But, the pipeline's continuing, and as Dylan said, assurance on special teams is important. Jeff Banks, I think, has his hands all over this. He recently got hired from Alabama, the special teams guru. So if he likes this recruit, and he does, I like him too, the seal of approval. What do you guys think about all these topics? Who's going to win the Card versus Thompson quarterback battle? Let us know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.